Bookie? Oh, hello, Director. Am I early for our meeting? No, not super early, just about 5 minutes. Well, I'm ready to start whenever you are. That's lovely, Bookie, but you're not the only Fanbassador that I am expecting. I thought you said this was a private meeting. It is, but it's between you, myself, and... Oh, dear, I'm not late, am I? Yes. No, you're actually just a couple minutes early, Mo. Please, have a seat. So, what are you doing here, Beatrice? I don't know, Morgan. The director said I was needed for an important discussion. Oh, good. I see you took my advice and actually started talking to each other since we're on a first-name basis here. Maybe this meeting's gonna be easier than I thought if you've already started to work things out. Work things out? She is as stubborn as ever, Liz. I told you I went to talk before I ever work things out with her. I am never going to see eye to eye with someone who actually thinks. Enough. This is why I called you in today. I cannot take this anymore. Anymore? We've literally had one meeting. One meeting was more than enough for this. Look at that wall. Wall? The wall. Now tell me what it says. United Fandoms is an inter-fandom organization tasked to promote inter-fandom cooperation and to create and maintain inter-fandom order. I cannot claim to be the head of an inter-fandom peace organization when two of my Fanbassadors are constantly at odds with one another. You have to learn to get along. Sorry, Director, but that is simply something that I cannot do. I cannot bring myself to be friends with someone who only watches the movies. What kind of heathen? Listen here, you faux fandom Puritan. Stop it. Beatrice, if you cannot learn to get along with Morgan, Then what? Then I'll call for your removal. What? Liz, you know I need this organization. And I need Fanbassadors who are only going to act in the best interest of our constituents. If you cannot learn to be congenial with someone who just happens to consume media a different way from you, then that's it. End of story. You're fired. Good. Now that I seem to have both of your attention, I will begin on my solution. You two will be having a debate. A debate? A debate. Hello and welcome to the first ever United Fandoms debate. I'm today's moderator, Director Fanbassador Liz Nelson, and here to argue a very hot topic are Fanbassadors books only and movies only. They will be debating whether books or movies are better. Awesome. Good grief. Before we begin, I will establish the rules. There will be 5 rounds, each round with a different subject for debate, and the two of you will argue your sides until I call time. The catch is that you are not trying to convince me which one of you is right. You're trying to reach a middle ground where you can agree with one another. Wait, what? Liz, I don't think... Begin! For the first round, I chose something relatively easy. Percy Jackson. Oh, gods of Olympus and Egypt, why do you think I hate the movies? Was that the first movie adaptation you ever watched? First and last voluntarily, are you kidding me? Gods, I don't blame you. What a horrible movie. But you don't read books? I don't do it now, but it's not like I've never read a book in my life. I only prefer TV shows and movies because they're faster to consume and I can multitask while doing it. But seriously, what they did to those books was a tragedy. What were they even thinking? Right? I mean, those books are probably some of the best pieces of literature in existence, and the movies just went and ruined them like that? I never realized that they could make a book that is so good on representation. I mean, the entire series is literally representation for kids with learning disorders, and then turn it into just another bad high school-aged action film. Oh, you want to hear about books destroying representation? Have you even heard about what they're doing to the Artemis Fowl? Okay, round 1 has finished. Let's not talk about those movies because everything I've read about them so far has made me physically ill. Same. What were they even thinking? A tragedy. Here's something a bit harder now. These books to movies actually have a very strong section of the fan base that originated as movies only, and it is usually the people who have come later to the books, but there are some people who have only read the books, though a little harder to find. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I live for it. I never read those books. See, they've been on my list for ages, but I haven't really gotten around to it yet because every time something new comes out, that always ends up kind of accidentally going to the top of my list. Oh my god, Beatrice, you have to read it. The movies are incredible. I can only imagine how good the books are. But you never read them. I don't have to. I know the story from the movies, and it's a good story. You're recommending a book you've never read. Yes, but I know the storyline. For all you know, the books could be terrible, and yet there you go, just recommending them. If the movies are good, then the books have to be good. Aren't books always better than the movies? Isn't that your reasoning? Okay, true. That's enough of a meeting in the middle for me. Next up is the speed round. We're gonna see how many books we can get through in 1 minute. First up being Jane Eyre. Several good movies, all ending slightly different, a little confusing. Good book, weird ending, but I support it conditionally. Mood. And then there were none. Clever, work of genius, brilliant, no complaints, perfect in every way. Cheesy ending, but I'm a sucker for a romantic subplot. Romantic subplot? Don't tell me those two guys actually got together in the movies. Wait, that romantic subplot exists in the book? I mean, I'm not saying they were in love, but they were absolutely in love. I just read it for the 3rd time and I would know. Wow, I actually for once feel like I'm missing out. Pride and Prejudice? Love. Also love. Well, that was easy. There's no way that such a beautiful and complex novel can be crammed into a 2 to 3 hour movie. There's a 6-ish hour version. Oh, and Colin Firth plays Mr. Darcy. Colin who? Colin Firth. Never heard of him. Bridget Jones' Diary, Kingsman. Nope. The King's Speech. Mamma Mia. I don't watch movies. We've got to keep going. She's never heard of Colin Firth. Morgan, we need to keep moving. The Fault in Our Stars? Emotional, great casting overall, great story. I cried reading it, and I'm sure John Green wouldn't let anyone destroy his book too badly. I trust him. And time. Okay, now nicely done, ladies. Round 4 is a little bit controversial, but I think it's a good idea to just go for it. The Giver. Oh, now see, this is a book I've definitely read for school, and it's a movie I've seen for the same reason, and it doesn't even sort of resemble the books. Yeah, but I'm not mad about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a book that I thoroughly enjoyed reading, but the things that the movie changed weren't necessarily bad things. Right, you're always one for a romantic subplot. Hey, the subplot was in the books too, just a little different because the age was different. He still had feelings for her and was told to take emotion-stopping pills because of it. It's been a few years. If I got that wrong, please forgive my facts. Yeah, but it was different in the books. Any awakening would have happened when he was hitting puberty, not when he was almost 18. The movie has the same general concept as the books. I mean, it took all of the main plot points and then just kind of gave it a happier ending. You can't really fault it for that, can you? Culture needs to really get over this happy ending thing because it is ruining perfectly good literature. But at least they did it in such a way that it didn't come completely out of left field. I mean, they actually built up to it, as opposed to like with Percy Jackson, where everything that happened was just so forced, like it was trying to be the same as the books, but this at least was its own separate thing, like a really good fan fiction that gave you the ending you wanted to see. I mean, weren't you rooting for them to get together in the end? Of course I was. That was the author's intent. Then what's so wrong with the movie? It gives people who never read the book a wrong perception of the plot line. Well, maybe it doesn't exist to be the book, and maybe it exists to take the book as a sort of jumping off point to be its own thing, and is that really so bad? And is it so bad to change the theme to love conquers all? I mean, gosh, Beatrice, it wasn't a bad movie, and you know it. You need to stop comparing books to the movies because they're never going to be the same thing. Did you or did you not want them to get together in the end? Yes. Did it happen in the movie? Yes, but did you like that it happened in the movie? Bookie? Yes. I think we're ready for round 5. You know what? Maybe it's better if we just stop. Some of these were rougher than they should have been, and I really don't think you're ready for this. We can take it. Maybe treat it like a bonus round so that even if we don't win, Beatrice doesn't have to lose her job. Hey, I don't need you defending my job, okay? We are going to finish this, Morgan. If you insist. Harry Potter. Oh, fun times. Is that what you were gonna say? I bet it was. Best fandom I've ever been a part of. I love the movies, I love the storyline, I love the characters, I love the wizarding world, and I love that it keeps growing. I wouldn't change it for anything. Here's where it gets messy. I both agree and disagree with everything you just said. What? All of these things that you're saying are perfectly true about the books, but cannot be true about the movies, okay? No matter how hard they try, it's just like with Pride and Prejudice. There is just no way that they can fit these complex and beautiful stories into that short of time. Well, sure, some things are going to get lost in translation, but I'm sure that there's some things the movies could do better than the books. You're on thin ice, Morgan. Well, okay, so a lot of books only have one point of view, and because of that, we are limited to what the character does or doesn't observe. And even ones that change point of view can sometimes get a little confusing and you're not sure what you're paying attention to, but the main point is there's always a part of the story that's going to be missed because a lot of times the characters don't observe everything that goes on, while in a movie you can show in the background a character doing something that acts as foreshadow for something that's going to happen later on in the movie. No, I'm not even hearing this. I can't believe you just dissed Harry Potter. No, I didn't. I said that books face different limitations than movies, and because of that, some things might be better portrayed in the movies than they were in the books. Nothing is wrong with the books. Foreshadow and the explanation work just fine without us needing to see what the background characters are doing that Harry didn't notice. But now we're back to needing to take them as their own separate things that— No. Would you just listen to me? No. Beatrice, come on. No. God, you are so frustrating, you know that? I even conceded a few points to you, but you are just so set in your way that you refuse to agree with me on anything. Have not. You've been running this whole debate because you don't think I can do it. Well, let me tell you, Morgan, I can agree with you on a lot of things if it is required of me, but I will never, and I mean never, say that the Harry Potter movies can even be comparable to the books. If you didn't read the books, you're not a real fan, and that's just the way it is. You act like a pureblood Slytherin who says movies only the way that Draco Malfoy says mudblood. You hurt me. I really wish you'd stop doing that without warning. I had to. It was just getting way too heated over there. But, Bookie, I think that Morgan has a point here. If you say anything the way that Draco Malfoy says mudblood, well, I think we found the real problem. I just love those books too much to have them dragged through the dirt the way that the movies would. I disagree. You're not supposed to take sides? Well, the rules have changed, and I'm taking a side. Bookie, the books are amazing, but the fact of the matter remains that not everyone is going to choose to consume the content that way. Some people will listen to audiobooks, and yes, some people will watch the movies, but we are all in this fandom together, and we all come together in one very special place. Our hearts. What? No, Tumblr. Oh. Now, your homework is to go home and consume something of one another's choice media. Bookie, for the love of McGonagall, watch a freaking Colin Firth movie, and Mo, read a book, even if it's an audiobook. I guess I can do that. Hey, you're the boss. Good. And remember, dear constituents, it's important that we learn to respect one another, no matter how we choose to consume the stories. Just because you don't like the form of media that they chose doesn't mean that they're not a real fan. Who are you talking to? At the end of the day, it all boils down to girl love. We're going to get shamed for whatever we end up doing. If you read only books, you're gonna get called a geek. And if you only watch movies, you're gonna get called an airhead. So really, there's no winning, and the only way that we can win is by supporting each other. Until next time, meeting adjourned. Okay, Mo, I have compiled a list of all of the books you should read before our next meeting. Thank you. I have no idea when I'm gonna find time to read all of these. You'll find time. Well, okay. Here is a list of movies you can watch. Oh god, some of my favorite books are on this list. Well, you might actually like it. I'm never going to enjoy any of these. Well, try. For a friend? What friend?
Me.
Over my dead body.
Wait, I thought that was the whole moral here.
Later, you heathen.